Hey, what's up? It's me, Deja Vu. Of course, back in the studio again because that's where I hang out. And I also hang out with some super dope people. Matter of fact, today we have Brandon Copeland in the building, the author of Your Money Playbook, former NFL player. What teams were you playing for?
So many. Too many to count. The Baltimore Ravens, Tennessee Titans, Detroit Lions,
And
New
I
York
heard you
Jets.
play for the Jets, Jets.
Yeah, we didn't
on.
win a lot of games, but we had a lot of fun out
You
there.
had fun.
Yeah, we had fun out there.
Now, what position?
Outside linebacker.
I don't even know what that means, but
Hey,
okay. What did you do? Did you tackle the people?
Yeah, I try to get the quarterback. I try to hit
You
the
are the
quarterback.
one. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm trying to be your quarterback's worst nightmare on Sunday.
Got it.
Yep.
Now, how's the season looking now for different people? I mean, what's your team that you're watching?
Yeah, so I'm from Baltimore. I got to start my career in Baltimore, end my career in Baltimore. So now I can technically be a Ravens fan. So I'm
Okay.
looking forward to seeing Lamar Jackson go out there,
Yes.
compete for his third MVP, but also more importantly, try to compete and get that trophy that's been eluding him for a little bit.
Yeah, well, we wish him good luck on that one.
Amen.
Now, I heard that when you were in the NFL, even in the locker room, you were talking about financial things and you were teaching folks all about investing and just life 101 basics. Give us that insight and what stirred that in you to want to start talking about finances?
Yeah, so for me, one, understand that the NFL is not for long.
Come on.
And also growing up in a place where money, we were not the worst off, but my mom did an amazing job of balancing a budget and making ends meet and making miracles happen, right? And so growing up, the little husky kid in me, I wanted to make so much money that I can go in the candy store and I can buy whatever I want, which I couldn't do as a kid, right? And so I've always been interested in money, always been fascinated with money. But then as I came into the league, my rookie year, I was in the Baltimore Ravens locker room and the league starts teaching us about a 401k. And I'm like, dang, I've went to an Ivy League school. I went to the Wharton School of Business, which was the #1 business school in the world. I've interned at Union Bank of Switzerland, which is the largest wealth management firm in the world. And I had to make it to the Baltimore Ravens to learn what a 401k was.
Wow.
So if that's the case, who's going to teach my mom about this? Who's going to teach my brother about this? Who's going to teach my friends about this? And so that just always seemed backwards to me. And I started studying up and learning as much as possible. And I always just started sharing as much as I could as I learned things. And that just made a bunch of players start gravitating towards me. And we built it up. We built it into a class. We've taught college students. We've taught high school students. We've taught adults.
Wow.
And we just try to democratize the access to this money information so that people can create the life of their dreams.
There's so much information out there now. How do you whittle down to the important things? Because we see we want to stock, we want to do crypto, we want to do all that. Where do we start?
Yeah. I think the best lesson that I learned in football was you can't stress what you can't control. And so when I tie that relationship to money, let me focus on first the things that I actually have in my control. First and foremost, let me figure out my why. Let me figure out what I'm hustling for, what my North Star is. And the reason why that's so important is because you can quickly look up and be thinking, I want to make money, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the reason why you're doing that is because of what you see on Instagram or what you see your neighbor want, as opposed to you literally sitting down and writing out the life that you want to live a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So let's get your why in order. And then 2, let's get a budget. Let's get a plan with your money. Before we ever go on the field on Sundays, we have went through meetings and game plans and scouting reports. So we have a plan of what we are going to do when the game starts, right? When the ball is snapped. And with a budget, now you actually have a starting point with your money, understanding how many pennies are leaving your house and leaving your pocket on a monthly reoccurring basis. By doing all of those things, then now it's a math problem. You're figuring out, okay, hey, I spend this much money per month, but I really want to add a vacation in. Well, now I know exactly where to cut because now it's a line item. Unfortunately, a lot of us haven't even started doing a budget, and therefore you're in this constant phase of almost hamster on a hamster wheel, just trying to make money, but you haven't necessarily stewarded what you already have to the best of its ability first because you haven't just laid it out in front of you.
I think a lot of times it seems so overwhelming and daunting. Like you really are looking at the numbers and you're like, oh, snap, I only have this much, or I have this much and I still feel like I can't make ends meet. So I think that's what it is. I like how the book flows because it does play like you're doing the football thing, football thing, like you're running a play in football.
Yep.
Talk to us about some of the other principles. I see the art of hustle, the power of growth, and the commitment to spending and promise of legacy, especially. Let's get to the legacy part later, but that's a really good tenet.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, it's the art of the hustle. Everyone wants to talk about side hustles and making money and things like that. And I think that there's a art to that. There's an art to monetizing your passions. There's an art to creating income and actually generating revenue, right? And so once you've mapped out your why, once you've done your budget, now you want to take the money that you're earning through your physical labor, and hopefully you're putting it and allocating it into different things of your dreams, savings and emergency fund. And the next step is the power of growth. At some point, you want to make money your employee. You want to create dollars with your hard work, and then you want to take those dollars and get them out there and put them to work for you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's investing. Right. Now you are taking your hard-earned cash and you're putting it to work for you so that it's getting you a return on your money. And the one thing I always say about this, because a lot of times people are like, well, investing, I'm not an investor. I'm not familiar with it. Mm-hmm. If you have $1, you are an investor. And what I mean when I say that is if you have $1, whether you choose to put it under your mattress, whether you choose to put it in your savings account, whether you choose to put it into the stock market, all of those things have different returns on it. So if I put it in my mattress, it's a 0% return. Mm. If I put it in a savings account, it's a 0.01% return. A high yield savings account, 4 to 5% right now. Stock market, 7 to 9%. All of these are investments. They're just different decisions. You have to choose wisely. It's different returns on your money. So if you feel like, I'm staying on the sidelines, I'm not an investor, understand investing is going out and getting a return on your money. We all are already doing that. Now you're just trying to choose wisely between different investments to get you the best possible return on your money.
I love that. I like what you're saying. Make your money your employee. That's pretty dope. All right. So what are you using as your tools when you're looking at investing? What should we be looking at? You're saying the percentage rates. Where do we find all this information?
Yeah. So first and foremost, what I would tell everybody to do is you need to learn the language of money. And so the way you can do that is go on your phone, go to the App Store, Google Play Store, whatever phone you have, and download CNBC app, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, and turn on notifications. All these apps are free to download, and now every single day they'll start spitting out different notifications. The market is up because of this. The market is down because somebody said this. This is happening over in Greece. And although when you initially do that, you're probably going to be like, What's going on? Yeah, I don't know what any of this stuff means. But in order for you to get better at the language of money, you got to hear it more often. And we're not always in these conversations and in these circles. So now by me just getting these notifications, now I'm starting to learn, and I'll eventually see different stories that I'll want to follow. I might see a company shares are down for some reason that I enjoy. Nike stock is down. Why is it down? Let me click in. And now I'm starting to learn the language of money, which is important. I also think that now you can take this information and now you can start to apply it to your own money. And the one thing I tell everybody is put these brokerage platforms and these banks to work for you, right?
And how do we do that?
You call customer service. Right? My second son was born November 9th, and it was in the middle of the season. I was playing with the Atlanta Falcons, and what I've done is I've set up Roth IRAs for my children, the retirement investment account. It's close to the end of the year, so I could not get this wrong, even though you have some extensions and some ability to do that beyond the year, but I wanted to get the birth certificate and get this thing set up the right way the first time, right? So I got on the phone, I set it up with Vanguard. Disclaimer, I'm not promoting Vanguard. You choose your own thing. Don't sue me, right? But I called customer service. I'm literally sitting in my bedroom calling customer service and having them walk me through setting up a custodial Roth IRA account for my son.
Wow.
Put them to work for you and have them walk you through it. And that gives folks like me who've been educated and learning about this stuff confidence that I'm doing it the right way the first time. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. All right, that's a good one. All right, so where are we in this? We've talked the art of the hustle, the power of growth. How do we see when we are talking about like compound interest and all this stuff? What is it we do after we see it? Because we're like, oh, we made a little bit of money. Do we move it? Because, oh my gosh, the stock market might go back down again. What do we do to avoid that rush of, I want to act right when I see what's happening?
Yeah, emotional decisions, right?
There you go.
I think that the reason why we create a budget, the reason why we sit down and write out our why is because you create that game plan for yourself. And the game plan just gives you more intentionality around your money decisions. So in football, I'm always going to go to football. Sorry, the athlete here, right? In football, we have a game plan, so we understand when we go in the game on Sunday that this team is going to try this, this, and this. And whenever they try those things, and hey, it may hurt us a little bit. Okay, guys, relax. It happens. This is part of the game. Let's step back up and let's stick to the plan. Let's go, right? The same thing happens with your money. The market is inevitably going to go up and down, but if you look at it over the long haul, you want your money working for you in the market because it's going to go up and to the right. And so as you are generating those returns, now you are going back and referring to your plan and asking yourself, what did I plan to do with that money? Hey, I was making money and I planned on taking a little bit out and putting it towards my next home, putting it towards my next car, or no, I plan on never touching this money until I'm 65, 75, et cetera, right? So it's ultimately dependent on that plan that you create for yourself. But the pro tip is create this plan in a cool, calm, collected environment, right? You don't want to create your game plan for yourself in the moment of chaos and desperation if possible, right? Because now when you get to those moments of chaos in the world, now you can go back to the plan that you created for yourself when you were clear-minded and you were being really, really thoughtful about your money.
I like that. So it goes back to the plan. Set up your plan. Make sure you know where you want your money to go and what you want it to do. All right, so let's continue on. What's the next tenet in here? So we're talking about the commitment to smart spending. Because we can get this budget, but every time, like I always say, when I see the shoes on sale, baby, it's just a wrap.
It's calling your name. It's calling your name.
Right?
They were for me. Yeah, no, I think that's the discipline part. Right. That's one of the toughest parts as you continue to grow and as you continue to, God willing, get out of survival mode and get into thrive mode. The toughest part is staying true to spending habits that are conducive to your long-term potential. Right. So what does this mean? By having a budget and me knowing and understanding how many pennies leave my house and leave my pocket on a monthly reoccurring basis. Right. I know how much it costs me to live every single month. Now I'm making cuts. And even as my income grows, I'm still making cuts. That's what I'm doing. Now, for some people, you may already be looking at your monthly reoccurring spend and you may say, I can afford to go up a little bit here because now it's time. I've worked hard and I wanted to treat myself, right? But for others, it's like, hey, I got to stay disciplined and stay true to this plan because I am creating something bigger than myself for years from now, right? The other thing, too, the commitment to smart spending, one thing you may have to do is put accountability partners around yourself as well, too.
That part,
right?
yes.
It's really, really easy to create a plan by yourself and then to go and fail in keeping up with that plan when you're the one holding yourself accountable. Like you said, I saw the shoes, I got to get them, right? And so what I try to do is I try to surround myself with a couple of people who are on a similar journey as me. And we hold each other accountable. Hey, you said you wanted to save this much this month? Cool. We're going to meet next month, and we'll see if you're accurate in that prediction or if you fell off. And we're not going to demonize each other, but we're going to motivate each other to say, hey, I'm holding you accountable.
Right.
The same way as an athlete, we train together. We're pushing each other to be better. It's the same thing with our money. And the final thing I'll say is the discipline piece, too, is you also – we'll have to, I always say, know thyself to create wealth. Know thyself to create wealth. I know I like to see people have a good time. I like to see people having fun, everybody smiling, and I don't like awkward moments, right? So one of the most awkward moments to me is when that bill comes and we got a bunch of people around the table and it's like, okay.
Who's going to pay? No, I've ordered this. You ordered that.
Right. So I know if I'm in a phase personally of true growth that I'm trying to grow my money, okay, well, I need to avoid some of those situations. I need to avoid that dinner with friends where I'm dieting, eating a salad and drinking a water, and everybody is drinking and buying steaks. And hey, let's all split it up. No. We didn't all eat that, right? But again, knowing thyself,
that is true,
means I don't even need to put myself in that awkward situation if I choose not to. Now, there's certain times I'm in the phase, hey, let's go out, let's have a good time. But again, I'm not going to let other people's decisions trip me up off of my journey towards my financial freedom, because unfortunately most of us aren't doing it the right way.
We aren't. But you know what? A lot of us don't have the conversations. You were saying get your accountability partner. And I can say even in my own life, I have close girlfriends. We talk about everything. I mean, everything. And we have not talked about money, a growth plan or anything. Maybe during the pandemic, maybe one time we were like, let's do something. And as soon as they were like, okay, no more masks, we were like, okay, we out here wild. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How do you stay consistent with your accountability partners and even bringing up those convos?
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, first and foremost, it might be just forcing it into the conversation. And at first, people might be looking at you like, why is she bringing up 401ks right now? We talking about the game. Right. We talking about this reality TV show, whatever it may be, right? But I think that similar to everything else, once you start pushing it into the conversation, it does become a norm, right? And I think that the more we talk about with money, because a lot of times when we talk about money, it becomes a taboo subject because we're talking about saving and it feels almost like a diet, like the word diet.
It
right?
does.
And you just feel like, oh man, why are you trying to constrict me right now? But really, what I always tell people is the reason why I'm so conscious about talking about money is for two things. One, because I'm trying to enable the life of my dreams. And if I'm having a conversation with you about money, you may have made a mistake that you can keep me from making that same mistake just by me talking and having the conversation. I always say, be in conference rooms of hundreds of people, and I'm like, out of this room, if there's 400 people in here, there's 200 people making the exact same mistake with their money right now. Wow. And if one of us just said, hey, you know what, I did this last year, probably shouldn't go down that road, you would save so many other people that heartache, right? But a lot of times we don't have those conversations because we don't want to get vulnerable and we don't want to be embarrassed to have it. So again, it might not be the easiest thing in the world, but I would say just start implementing those things into the conversation, and you can start talking about the different companies that you want to own. Hey, we all have an iPhone here. It'd be nice to own some Apple. Y'all see what's going on with Apple right now? Did y'all hear about that? And now you can start
to ease it on in.
Ease it in, yeah. And you don't have to start having some, CNBC, breakdowns and things like that. It's just you're more so just starting to talk about it and normalize it, and it's really important for your children to start hearing that as well too.
Yes.
A lot of us, we talk about legacy, the power of legacy. A lot of us are working extremely, extremely hard because we want to create generational wealth and we want to pass certain things down to our children. And it doesn't mean anything if you don't teach them what to do with it.
Absolutely.
If you don't teach them how to deal with it, with not just the money and the assets, but also the pressure of having money, the pressure of having to say no to people, right? You got to teach your children how to steward that. All right, so
break that down for us. What's the pressure like?
So the pressure is, well, one, having to be on guard a lot of times, unfortunately. And I'm talking from the perspective of an athlete, but also a person who people know has reached his version of financial freedom, his version of financial confidence, right?
Right.
There are other people who have similar journeys who have never played a sport. However, in their family, their household, they're the ones that made it to the league. And so whenever anybody needs something, they call, hey, you got 200, you got another 1,000, you know.
Tell them a story.
Exactly. So first and foremost, the pressure of being comfortable losing people is tough to deal with, right? I don't want to tell my best friend no. I don't want to tell my auntie no. I don't want to tell my little cousin no. But sometimes you got to realize, hey, if I'm the safety net for everybody and eventually I'm spending this money like this, one day I'm going to need a safety net.
You're going to need it. And who's going to help you?
And nobody, right? Like they're going to sit there and look at you like, man, you should have spent better. You went broke.
Right.
He
had all that money. What happened?
What you doing? They're going to talk about you, right? And so, again, it's not saying to never help anybody, but you have to start to practice putting up boundaries and saying no. And again, it's tough, but it's necessary. You work extremely hard to be in the position that you are in. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of discipline. And guess what? That's one of the best investments in the world. A lot of people don't look at the seat that you're in as something that you've invested to be in.
Right.
All the late nights, all the hard work, all the mentorship, all the shadowing, right? All the time. I've invested to be here. I've invested to make this money. I'm not an overnight millionaire. I've worked for this.
Come on.
So now it makes it a little harder for me to say, you know what? I'm going to give you this. And I'm going to give you one more thing. Sometimes you'll help people, and sometimes you'll look at their stories or their lives, and you'll be like, you having more fun than me. God, how I'm helping you out, and you out partying with my money. I thought you need, okay, right? So you got to learn from those things, and again, just set strong boundaries.
I like that. So what about other things for our legacy? As we're working hard, we're saving, what are some of the things that we can do? Because I know a lot of my friends who are of a certain age who start thinking like, okay, so what does my legacy look like? Where am I putting my money so that it can benefit my family, my people, my philanthropic efforts?
Yep.
Where do I invest or put in for those things?
Yeah, so I think depending on, again, all depends on your age, your children. It also depends on their temperament. One of the things you want to start doing as you get older and facing potentially retirement and also just proper estate planning is meeting with an estate attorney and talking about that plan. The transfer of wealth from one generation to the next is a huge tax burden.
It
at
is,
times.
and you don't hear about that a lot. Like
Right.
even if I just had my grandmother pass away, and it's like, okay, we got to deal with all this stuff, and then who gets what, and how does it go down, and then taxes that you have to pay on stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother.
thank you.
I have a grandmother right now who's dealing with dementia, and my grandfather passed away in 2019. He played 11 years in the NFL, and one of the things about the estate plan is obviously we're talking about taxes, we're talking about the money, but also when you haven't buttoned that up, now you end up leaving your family to try to decide what you wanted. And a lot of times that causes a lot of confrontation.
Yes.
Right? It causes a lot of issues and problems.
Yeah.
And so some of these things are I don't want to say easier, but simpler for you to determine, hey, I worked really, really hard for this. I want this going to this person, and I'd like you to put me here and all those things. So one, the mental burden or the mental anguish you can potentially save your family as they're grieving the loss of you, but now also trying to make business decisions on behalf of you is something you can't really put a price on.
Right.
Right. And then, as you mentioned, that tax burden, I mean, you can wipe out. I'm not going to put everybody's estate into one category or number, but you can wipe out a third of your wealth, half of your wealth, and you can give it right back to the government after working your entire life and paying taxes your entire life. And then now when you die, you pay taxes again, when really your plan this entire time was, hey, I want to pass this down to my children. So that's, again, when you need to definitely be making sure that you're meeting with proper advisors and attorneys. And yes, it may cost, but
that's an investment. Yeah.
It's an investment to save on that tax bill.
Well, this is information that we have all been able to use. Brandon, this is good. This is really good. Where can we find out more about what you're doing? Because I know you teach as well, or you were at one point.
Yep.
Give us some of your backstory.
Yeah, you can go brandoncopeland.com/playbook to get your money playbook. But also, as you mentioned, I've been teaching for the last 6 years at the University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater. Course is called Life 101. You can also get access to that at the website as well too, brandoncopeland.com/playbook. And ultimately, the course is on all the money decisions we have to make in life at some point. But now let's walk through it in the class. I want to buy a house one day. Well, we should probably talk about what a closing disclosure looks like before I sign over 30 years of my life.
Because you are signing your life away when you buy the house. Like, I'm just putting my signature down. What is this? Just put your initials here, sign there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my wife and I, so one of the reasons why we started the class, my wife and I, we bought a house in Jersey in 2016. I was playing with the Detroit Lions at the time, and she called me. She's in the closing office in Jersey. I'm in season. I'm in the locker room, and she sends me the email with the closing package, and she calls me up, hey, babe, hey, everything look right? And I'm like, like 106 pages, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the purchase price, but then there's all these other lines, and there's all these other numbers, and hold up. I mean, everybody at the closing table is incentivized to say, hey, just sign this so I can get my commission. Right? So we signed, and I bought my first home. It's now a rental property. And instead of me being super excited like most people would be to buy their first house, I was like, did I just get played? And that's not how it should be. We sit in these classrooms for so long. We should be learning about the decisions we all know.
Why aren't we taught these things anyway? This is basic life training.
Listen. I ain't a conspiracy theorist, but
they want me to learn art history about so and so during the whatever period.
Look, they got me learning about tangents and sines and cosines
and I'm never gonna use that.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that if anything, right? So yeah, teach me about my credit.
Yeah.
Teach me how to buy a car. Yeah. Teach me about, we do in our class, we talk about buying appliances, right?
Really?
Because there's certain things that again, you just want to practice these things before they ever come to life. And a lot of people buy appliances without measuring first, right?
That
and
has
now
happened.
You stuck.
Sorry, why are you talking about me?
Why
are you talking about me?
I was talking about
come on.
Over there, you know? Yeah,
that did happen though. We were like, oh no, we had to take the back off of something, try and squeeze it in. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, but again, it's like, all right, but the reason why I got into money is because there's one, I'm interested in it, I'm passionate about it, and I wish somebody would have taught my mom this, right? Yeah. Because maybe there would have been things that she would have been able to do to put her money to work for her that would have took some pressure off of her to go into the office to have to work, right? And so now the evolution of this is the other thing is we all are dealing with this mental health craze, and it's not craze, this mental health era, so to speak. And I think it is really, really tough for somebody to go outside of their house and to put on a smile and to be a super, super, super productive human being in society when you don't know how you're going to keep the lights on 2 weeks from now. You have no idea where, if the money decisions you're making today are going to lead to the life that you actually truly want for yourself 2 to 5 years from now, or if I'll ever be able to afford a house. These are the things that all of us are considering, and a lot of folks are dealing and walking around with this pressure. And so the goal of your money playbook is for you to be able to intentionally map out your personal money life, not anybody else's, not your cousin's, not what your auntie wants for you, but your life.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so wait, is there a course online that's the Your Money Playbook online?
Yes, absolutely. So it's called Life 101 online.
Okay. How do we get it?
BrandonCopeland.com/playbook. We have the link right there. But yeah, it's literally an Ivy League course, but it's now digital. We got all the graphics, designs, and all that stuff.
Do you ever do any like live webinars or anything with it?
We do. We've done webinars. We've done workshops. We do a number of different things. So all of that information for the next one will be up there. Right now, I will admit to you, we don't know when the next one will be. I'm expecting.
I'm gonna sign up. Hey, Brandon, it's me.
Yeah, I'm expecting my third child right now. My third boy. I tried for a girl. I tried for a girl. Yeah, I never thought I'd be trying for a girl. I tried for a girl, but we only making babies, making boys over here, right? Like,
yes.
And so we're expecting our third boy, and obviously want to be job number one, right? The best job in the world. Want to be there coaching up wifey and holding the hand and getting my hand squeezed and all that stuff.
Yes, she's like, "What did you do to me?"
Yep.
Now let me ask you: with this third baby, are y'all going to be swiping? Is there a budget?
Oh, absolutely.
Or are you just going on like, I want to get this? Because when people have kids, listen. I don't have children, so I'm the virtual auntie for everybody.
Okay.
I'm going to swipe here. Oh, I saw this little outfit for such and such. How do you keep a budget for that?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not going to lie. One good thing about having a third boy and having two older boys is that's a lot of hand-me-downs. Okay, we done saved a lot of money just right there alone.
Good enough for your brother. It's good enough for
saying.
you.
You know, you definitely want to make sure. I definitely want to make sure he has some things that are of his own and things of that nature, obviously. But yeah, we've been able to be blessed in a lot of things that God has done in our lives. Just naturally have saved money for us, so we'll take it.
That is awesome. All right, well, everybody go get Your Money Playbook. We'll be checking out the course. And Brandon Copeland, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Perfect. This is great. Do me a favor. Look in there and say, hey, this is Brandon Copeland. Okay. I am doing a takeover on the Deja Vu show.
Cool. What's up, y'all? This is Brandon Copeland, aka Professor Cope, and I am doing a takeover on the Deja Vu show.